What does it mean to be a man? Is it about muscles, money, or power? Or is there something deeper, something that cannot be measured, only felt? From the time we are boys, the world whispers in our ears what a man should be. Be tough. Don't cry. Win. Provide. Protect. But somewhere along the way, these words become chains. They lock us in silence, force us into masks. And many grow into adulthood without ever asking a simple but terrifying question: what kind of man do I want to be? Being a man is not about living up to someone else's idea. It's about discovering who you are when no one is watching. A true man is not built by applause, but by struggle. Not by charm, but by character. Not by dominance, but by discipline. A real man stands up when it would be easier to lie down. He chooses honesty over comfort, even when it hurts. He keeps his promises. He doesn't run when things fall apart, he becomes the one others run to. He is calm when chaos rages, strong when others tremble, soft when someone breaks. You don't become a man the day you grow facial hair or get your first job. You become a man the day you stop blaming others. When you stop making excuses and start holding yourself accountable for who you are. That's the beginning of manhood, responsibility. You take responsibility for your actions, your words, your thoughts. You don't wait for someone to fix your life, you fix it yourself. You stop pointing at your past, your parents, the world. And you say, this is my life. What I do next is on me. This isn't easy. It requires pain. It means facing your fears instead of hiding behind distractions. But pain is not your enemy. Pain is the forge where men are made. The world does not need more men who talk big. It needs more men who live big. Men who show up. Who protect without needing to control. Who love without needing to possess. Who lead without needing to shout. Strength is not the absence of emotion, it's the mastery of it. Anger doesn't make you strong. Rage doesn't make you powerful. A real man feels deeply, but chooses wisely. He knows that the strongest man in the room is the one who doesn't need to prove it. He controls his emotions, not by suppressing them, but by understanding them. He knows when to speak and when to stay silent. He listens more than he talks. He learns more than he boasts. He is slow to judge, quick to help. A true man doesn't measure himself by how many women he's had, how much money he's made, or how feared he is. He measures himself by how he treats the people who can give him nothing. By how he handles failure. By how he behaves when no one is watching. Masculinity isn't aggression. It's presence. It's showing up, day after day, even when no one says thank you. It's waking up early when you want to sleep in. It's doing the hard thing when the easy thing tempts you. A real man is not afraid to be alone. Because he knows who he is. He doesn't need to be constantly entertained or validated. He can sit with his thoughts, wrestle with them, learn from them. He is not scared of silence. He is not scared of stillness. And yet, he is not an island. A true man builds. He builds a life. He builds trust. He builds others up. He knows that being strong doesn't mean standing alone, but knowing when to ask for help. That vulnerability is not weakness, but courage. You see, being a man is not about having all the answers. It's about seeking the truth, even when it's ugly. It's about admitting when you're wrong. It's about saying sorry when you hurt someone. And changing. Not just saying you will, actually doing it. A real man is not defined by how much he can lift, but by how much he can carry. The burdens of others. The weight of responsibility. The pressure of doing what's right when no one else does. He is not loud. He is not cruel. He doesn't hide behind jokes when someone is hurting. He doesn't shrink from emotions, his or others. He knows that real strength is not seen in the body, but in the soul. And he is not perfect. Far from it. But he tries. Every single day. He tries to be better. To listen more. To react less. To give more than he takes. He fails, yes. But he gets up. He doesn't quit. He doesn't hide behind pride. He learns. That's what separates a boy from a man. A boy runs from difficulty. A man runs into it, not because he wants to suffer, but because he wants to grow. A boy demands love. A man earns it. A boy blames. A man takes ownership. We live in a time when masculinity is confused. Some say we need softer men. Others say we need stronger men. But maybe what we really need are deeper men. Men who are strong enough to be gentle. And wise enough to know when. Men who carry honor like armor. Who defend the truth, not their ego. Who protect the innocent, not because it makes them heroes, but because it makes them human. This is what it means to be a man. And it's not a finish line you cross once. It's a road you walk every day. With grit. With heart. With humility. A true man does not need to conquer others to feel powerful. He conquers himself. His pride. His temper. His desire to escape. The real battlefield is not out there, it's inside. And most men lose not because they are weak, but because they never learn to fight that inner war. But if you do, if you decide to face it, everything changes. You begin to see the world differently. You stop chasing the approval of strangers. You stop building your worth on shallow things. You stop needing to be liked, and you start needing to be true. The man who knows who he is cannot be manipulated. He cannot be broken by rejection or bent by public opinion. He stands firm, not because he's arrogant, but because his values are rooted like oak. He doesn't yell to make a point, he becomes the point. A real man does not control with fear. He leads with example. His presence makes others better. Not because he demands it, but because his life is proof. He doesn't teach by preaching. He teaches by living. When he speaks, people listen, not because he's loud, but because he's real. You can feel a real man when he walks into the room. He doesn't need attention. He doesn't crave praise. He brings a quiet strength, an energy that says, I've been through fire, and I'm still here. He doesn't boast about his past. He just carries it, like a scar he no longer hides. And when he loves fully. Not halfway. Not with conditions. A true man loves with presence, with patience, with purpose. He protects the heart of the one he loves, not by jealousy or control, but by being dependable. Loyal. Grounded. He understands that being a man is not about power over others, but about power over self. It's about turning rage into action, and pain into purpose. It's about taking the storm inside and using it to build, not destroy. He does not hurt to feel strong. He heals to become stronger. The boy inside him might still want revenge, still want to prove something, still want applause. But the man inside him has learned that peace is more powerful than victory. That inner stillness is louder than any shout. That growth doesn't always look heroic. Sometimes it looks like silence. Like saying no. Like letting go. You will not see this man showing off on social media. You will not hear him talking about how alpha he is. Because he has nothing to prove. He doesn't perform masculinity. He lives it. In how he works. In how he treats people. In how he shows up, every single day. He is not scared of hard times. He doesn't run from crisis. When the house is burning, he's the one carrying others out. When the family is breaking, he's the one holding the pieces. When the pressure builds, he doesn't explode, he becomes solid. And when he fails, and he does, he owns it. He doesn't hide behind lies or blame. He stands in the mess he made and cleans it. That's courage. That's manhood. A real man respects women, not out of weakness, but out of strength. He doesn't need to dominate to feel respected. He doesn't fear a woman's power. He honors it. He is not threatened by her independence. He celebrates it. Because he knows his worth is not less when someone else shines. He is not perfect. He knows that. And he never pretends to be. But he doesn't use that as an excuse. He keeps learning. Keeps showing up. Keeps choosing the harder path. Not because it's noble, but because it's necessary. He understands that his children won't remember what he said. They will remember what he did. Whether he was present. Whether he listened. Whether he showed them what integrity looks like. Whether he apologized when he was wrong. Being a man is not about how much you lift at the gym. It's about what you carry in your life, your pain, your past, your responsibilities, and how you carry them. Do you throw them on others, or do you bear them with grace? A real man is not just strong in body. He is strong in will. Strong in forgiveness. Strong in the quiet things, the kind things, the steady things, the unseen choices that make all the difference. And if you're listening to this, wondering if you're that kind of man, maybe you are. Or maybe you're on your way. Because the very fact that you're asking means you care. It means you're not asleep. It means something inside you is still fighting to rise. You don't have to be flawless. You just have to be honest. You don't have to be fearless. You just have to be brave enough to face the fear. And most of all, you don't have to do it alone. Because real men support each other. They don't compete in silence. They talk. They open up. They lift each other up instead of tearing each other down. They understand that brotherhood is not weakness, it's wisdom. We were never meant to do this alone. And no man becomes great in isolation. Behind every strong man is pain, yes, but also patience. People. Purpose. So ask yourself, what kind of man are you becoming? Not what job you have. Not how much money you make. But when life breaks you, who do you become? That answer, and only that answer, defines your manhood. A man is not born ready. He becomes ready, through trial, through choice, through fire. He is shaped not by praise, but by pressure. Not by comfort, but by sacrifice. And no matter where he begins, he always has the power to choose who he becomes. This choice happens in quiet moments. Not in public victories, but in private battles. When no one is watching and he's tired and angry and tempted to quit, that's when the truth comes out. That's when the real man either rises or disappears. Most people won't see the effort. They won't see the nights he stays up thinking, the mornings he wakes up before everyone else, the pain he swallows so others can breathe. But he doesn't need them to see it. He's not doing it for applause. He's doing it because that's who he is. He's not afraid to work. He doesn't wait for handouts. He doesn't expect the world to give him anything. If he wants it, he earns it. He understands that nothing truly valuable comes without a cost. And he's willing to pay that cost without complaint. A real man builds. He builds trust. He builds relationships. He builds a name others can rely on. Not by being perfect, but by being consistent. By showing up. By keeping his word when it's inconvenient. By doing the hard thing when the easy one is right there. He is a man others feel safe around, not because he's soft, but because he's stable. His strength isn't explosive. It's steady. Quiet. Like a lighthouse in the storm. He doesn't chase chaos, he calms it. He doesn't need to dominate conversations. He doesn't talk over others to prove he's right. He listens. Not because he's weak, but because he respects. He knows that ego blinds, but humility sees. There's a certain gravity to him. People feel it. You can sense it when he walks into a room, not through force, but through presence. He's grounded. Solid. You know you can count on him. And that is not something you can fake. He's not always happy. He's not always confident. But he doesn't let his emotions define him. He feels them, owns them, and still chooses to do what must be done. Even when it's uncomfortable. Especially then. Because he knows that growth lives in discomfort. That strength comes from walking through fire, not around it. He doesn't numb his pain with distractions. He meets it face to face. He asks, what is this pain trying to teach me? And then he listens. A true man is dangerous, but only to those who threaten what's sacred. He has the power to harm, but the self-control to protect. He knows that a sword is only as noble as the one who holds it. He doesn't swing it to feel strong. He keeps it sheathed until the moment calls. He is gentle with those who are weak. He lifts them, guards them, teaches them. Because he remembers what it was like to be lost. To be scared. To feel like he wasn't enough. And someone, once, helped him. So now he pays it forward. He does not mock. He does not belittle. He does not laugh when someone else falls. Because he knows that life humbles everyone eventually. And the measure of a man is not how high he climbs, but how he treats those still finding their footing. A real man is loyal. Not just to people, but to principles. He doesn't change who he is based on who's in the room. He doesn't compromise his integrity for status or acceptance. His word is his bond. And when he says he will, he does. He leads, but never from a throne. He leads from within. By example. With humility. Not because he needs power, but because he feels responsibility. He carries weight, not for glory, but for those who cannot carry it alone. You will see him doing the small things that matter. Fixing what's broken. Apologizing when he's wrong. Taking the blame when it wasn't all his fault. He doesn't care who gets the credit, he cares that it's done right. He teaches others not by telling them what to do, but by showing them how to be. His actions speak louder than his voice ever could. And over time, people begin to follow, not because they are told to, but because they trust him. And when life hits him, when tragedy comes, or dreams collapse, or betrayal finds him, he doesn't lose himself. He feels the pain. He may cry. He may bleed. But he does not break. Because he knows who he is. And no storm can take that away. Manhood is not something you declare. It's something you prove, quietly, daily, consistently. It's earned through patience, through character, through 1,000 small acts of discipline that no one claps for. And in the end, the world may never fully understand him. They may underestimate him. Misjudge him. Call him old-fashioned, or too serious, or too intense. But the people who matter will know. They will feel it. They will remember him not by what he said, but by what he did. By how they felt around him. By the way he held space for them to be better. That is a man. Not every man will choose this path. Some will choose comfort. Noise. Distraction. They will chase approval until the day they die and wonder why they never felt whole. They will talk about strength but run from responsibility. They will wear the mask but never meet the man underneath. But you can be different. You can choose the harder way. The real way. You can choose to rise. And rising doesn't mean being fearless. It doesn't mean having it all figured out. It means getting up again after you've been knocked down. It means doing the right thing when no one will ever thank you for it. It means protecting your peace, even when your mind screams otherwise. A man doesn't wait for the world to be fair. He doesn't beg for permission to live with purpose. He steps forward. And when life hits, he doesn't say, "Why me?" He says, "Try me." Because deep down, he knows this is why he was made, not for ease, but for endurance. Not for trophies, but for trials. He finds meaning not in how much he gets, but in how much he gives. Not in how loud he speaks, but in how clearly he lives. He may be misunderstood. He may be criticized. But he stays true. Because truth, for him, is not a strategy, it's a foundation. He gives without needing attention. He serves without needing reward. He sacrifices without asking to be seen. Not because he's trying to be noble, but because that's who he is now. That's who he chose to become. He might be tired, wounded, scarred, but there's fire in him. And that fire doesn't burn others, it warms them. He walks through this life with a quiet dignity. A strength that doesn't need to shout. A calm that spreads even in the middle of chaos. And he understands something most people forget, that the man he becomes is more important than anything he builds. That his inner world is the true legacy he leaves behind. Not just his name, but his nature. Not just what he taught, but how he made others feel. A real man leaves behind more than money or property. He leaves behind character. Respect. Memory. The kind of impact that echoes in hearts, not headlines. And when he reaches the end, when the final chapter is written, he won't be remembered for how loud he was, but for how real he was. For how deeply he lived. For how he stood when it mattered most. Not perfect. Not a hero. Just a man. Honest. Strong. Steady. Present. So if you've ever doubted yourself, if you've ever asked, "Do I have what it takes?" The answer is yes. But not because you were born with it. Because you're willing to build it. Because you're willing to bleed for it. Because you're willing to wake up tomorrow and choose again. And again. And again. That's what makes you a man.